I used to feel so upset when I felt that I was not included. Ever since I remember when I was little, I was always bringing friends home, always taking care of everybody. I will nurture everybody. And I thought that if I take care of people, they were my friends. When I learned to realize years later, it was like I was establishing a relationship that was one-sided, where I will always take care of people's needs, but I never even asked what I needed. I didn't even know that I needed anything because my biggest pleasure was to give back. And I still have that energy. I just love so much when I can share what I know, what I have learned, I have around me, and I can just experience it myself and then share it to the world. But now I learn wiser ways of taking care of myself and being capable of sustaining my life, being self-reliant, but at the same time offer this space, but in ways that there must be a commitment from the other side. So I don't have that many friends right now, and that's okay. It took me a while to kind of be able to accept that, the idea of not being so friendly, or rather like not being so popular as I used to be in school. I realized that I would hide behind the popularity because I was so afraid of feeling alone. And now that being alone is a choice, it just feels so empowering. So I have a lot of time for myself. That doesn't mean that I don't see people, I don't talk to people, but I get to choose the time and the kind of relationship I want to have at a specific moment. So this is something that I'm feeling a lot this week, when we still have a lot of Aries energy, that is all about the self. I'm feeling so empowered because I know that I really feel grounded in my needs, and I feel grounded in the way I want to relate to myself on a day-to-day basis. When I choose to interact with other beings, whether it's a group or person by person, it's interesting because I have noticed that I've learned, one, to listen to them, two, to listen to myself when I'm listening to them or when I'm speaking back at them, and three, the most important part is I realize that I have choice. I have the choice to choose, choice to know when I engage or not. I have the choice to choose when I engage or not. And engagement is interesting because to be engaged in something is to be attending, putting some attention specifically towards something. So it takes 166 years for this cycle between two giants, two mythological brothers, Jupiter and Neptune, to end and begin a new cycle. One ruling the heavens, the other one ruling the sea. Jupiter is expansive and seeking truth. Along with Saturn, it refers to the social realm of human experience, as in sharing and having a feeling of togetherness, which could be the core of most philosophical and religious experiences. Human beings live in groups of various kinds. They create community, culture, sharing needs, values, ideas, and memories. These communities have produced language, religion, institutions, laws, and nations. It sort of gives a person a sense that they belong to something, to a place, to an ideal, to some shared value. That's Jupiter. And then Saturn helps define that place. Now, when we talk about Neptune together with Uranus and Pluto, they belong to a very different category. They're a little bit more far away, they take longer, and they're considered transpersonal planets. Uranus challenges everything. It's trying to tell the human being to stop identifying with a specific tradition, is questioning the authenticity of the self, because at the very end, the ego is mostly molded by social factors. So it helps to break away from the jail of thinking that you are conditioned in a way and that that's your being. Neptune helps dissolve everything. Everything that it is material becomes non-material. It's really the realm of the unconscious. This dissolving power is great. It helps to forgive a situation, so you can start brand new. It is the way back to source. It's also very unfocused, misty, and not very clear. It can be used as an escapism if one likes very much to neglect the needs. So it can be very friendly with alcohol, drugs, and all kinds of stuff not to be able to be here. When it is in a good aspect, it also helps the individual to achieve his dreams because it's connected to the impossible. It's not defined like Saturn. On the contrary, it's capable of allowing dreams, music, cinema to grow. It is also very compassionate. It is also connected to the divine, to what we consider something that we can trust. You see, there's a very big difference between trust and faith. Trust is Neptune. I know. I cannot define it. I cannot prove it. It is intangible, but at the same time, it's the knowing. It's in the experience. It's like the sea. It's just there all together. Faith, on the other hand, is about assigning value to something that is outside of yourself. And when you're connected to something outside of yourself, you cannot really trust that unless you put all the attention and faith into an object, an institution, a guru, somebody who tells you where to go and what to do. So this Jupiter-Neptune cycle that is ending after 166 years changes every 13 years from sign to sign. But this time we're just finishing a very big cycle because it's at the very end in the sign of Pisces. It's almost as if we were closing a very big gap so we can actually start brand new in new ways of engaging with ourselves and with society. It's almost like a big eraser. This conjunction can bring a little bit of confusion, can bring a little bit of blindness and a little bit of misunderstandings. It is like a very liminal place. It's a threshold where you have to really trust your inner vision as opposed to whatever is coming outside from the TV set or the computer or any stories that are not yours. Remember, there's no truth other than what it is inside of you. So these cycles of Jupiter and Neptune, they're essential steps that we should take in the transformation of our traditional social sense. They're not going to happen like one big event. It's more like it's subtly changing the way we refer to our social institutions. It is done by an accumulation of very small steps in which we are going to allow a great revolution happen. So at the very end, this cycle is the relationship between ideals in the society and the expectations created by it. We can be completely disillusioned by society right now, or we can be completely hopeful because Neptune can be disillusion and Jupiter can be hope. So it is the right angle. What does it really mean, this in a very personal way? It means at this point where we are, where the nodes are that are squaring Saturn, this square is going to be really reminding us to revise. I've been saying this for a while now, our personal attachments to things that are not letting us grow. And once you do that, you can always go back to your sense of power and your sense of worth, where you become your own person by knowing exactly what is it that you need in order to thrive, not just survive, but thrive, and you become your own resource. So if you have not started doing that, you still have time because anything can be manifested at this time as long as you have full commitment to your own needs. You cannot be dependent of any authority, Saturn. You cannot be dependent on any idea of truth or any philosophical concept that society is telling you to abide by. You can't do that. If you do that, you're going to be lost in the sea of confusion. You're going to be sort of waiting to be told what to do next. And that could be a very, very awful feeling, like a little ship in the ocean with no direction. So ground yourself in your needs and start having that true relationship to who you are with courage. You're still in Aries season. Last but not least, the gate 51 is present this week. And it is a portal of fear. So if you're not really taking care of what you want, this portal is going to give you two ways of doing things. You can actually be quite afraid to face anything, any change, and you will shut down and you will act like if it was not with you. So it will be, in a way, neglecting. Or you can become very hostile about it and very angry. But there's a gift in this possibility right now. You could actually be suddenly awakened to your own path if you allow this energy to be like a jolting ball and inviting you to really reconnect to your spirit, because this spirit is, it's all about freedom. It's like a thunder that is going to give you the power to be awakened. And to be awakened means to be in your own truth. So that could be aligning you with the upcoming conjunction of Jupiter and Neptune. Could be a surprise for you waking up and already understanding where you have to go next. But it all depends on how you connect to your own fears and if you are actually doing the work by tending to your need. Remember, if you feel hostile or you feel like you want to escape and you're not willing to accept what is, then you're probably going against the current. And the current right now is like, be brave, just allow it, and you're going to have so much fun, because this is the most amazing times right now we're living. We can make anything happen, but you got to do the work individually. Nobody's going to save you. There's no saving at this moment. There's no more victim mode of channeling the truth. There's no more victimization. Pure accountability. Just be brave.